You're talking with a motivated lead, you've tried 17 different ways of getting the price point out of them, but they just won't budge. Do this, check it out. Fam, what's up? Welcome to the REI Wholesaling series. All right, if you haven't downloaded your Wholesaling 101 course, go to reiwholesaling.com and download the course. It's free. This course teaches you how to wholesale from A to Z, all right? So take advantage of that. Now, with that being said, let's talk about one of the biggest conversations that we have as wholesalers, especially when we're trying to, present an offer. We're just getting into the business. Maybe the conversations are not as solid as they would be otherwise, right? Because we don't have the experience. We're trying to build up that confidence. And like we always hear it, right? Okay, so let's get the seller's price before we drop an offer. Let's do that. Let's do it. Sometimes we just get to a point where we have them on the conversation. We've been cold calling for months, and we finally have somebody who's willing to listen to an offer, but they're telling us, give me your offer. You tell me your offer. You called me, right? You are the interested party. I don't even want to sell my house. You tell me what you can do. And no matter what we say, they just won't budge, right? So this is what you need to do. The last thing that you want to do is fill up your schedule, right? Going to all kinds of property visits and just wasting time with people who are not going to be motivated seller lead, okay? Very different. It's very different to go to appointments where you can have some leeway and actually negotiate than to just, okay, let's throw, spaghetti in the wall and see what sticks in terms of offers. This strategy, which is the soft pass, is one of the tools that we use on a regular basis to pre-qualify our leads. Okay, yes, we go off of condition, timeline, motivation, and price, right? But when you're cold calling and you're just talking to a prospect, a lot of times it can be difficult. You can't really get into that situational pain yet because you don't have a rapport built up, and they, a lot of times they're building up this wall, right? They're talking to you through a wall. And a soft pass is a good way just to know whether or not you're wasting your time, okay? The key thing to a soft pass is to see how negotiable they are, okay? Even if we have some room to wiggle down the road, when we actually find out what their pain points are, we go through the entire script and everything. This is way before we actually get into that seller negotiation, that discovery conversation that we always need to have with sellers, right? This happens right at the beginning of the thing, right? When you're trying, again, you're going through all those records, especially if you're cold calling, you get somebody who's just kicking tires. Oh, I want to see what my property's worth. I want to see what somebody like you could offer. You don't know you don't want to spend a lot of time, right? Running comps, doing market analysis, and all kinds of elaborate things if this person is not going to be a match and it's not going to be a motivated seller, right? Because this is a volume game. So we want to be as effective as possible. We want to be as strategic as possible. And then we want to reach as many people as possible, right, at the end of the day. So let's talk about how you set up for that soft pass, okay? The first thing that happens in my business is we go through the cold calling team, right? The cold calling team gets the leads, they're prospecting, they're going through thousands and thousands and thousands of records just to kind of, pick out the few that are maybe want to, have a conversation about an offer with us. So they do that, they take a lead, they just gauge for interest, and then they tee it up to my lead manager. My lead manager then is having a pre-qualifying conversation. As she's going through this pre-qualifying conversation before she sends it over to acquisitions, because I don't want to bottleneck acquisitions with a whole bunch of stuff that, it's not relevant. She will pre-qualify, right? So she'll do a soft pre-qual. And one of the tools, like I said, is the soft pass. If we're going through the process, we do ask them, okay, how much are you looking to sell the property for? There's so many different ways of asking about price points to draw out their number. If none of those work, you will revert to a soft pass, okay? So you're gonna ask them, how much are you looking to sell the property for? You can get creative again. You can ask them, if I were to cut 2 checks, one for the loan, one for yourself, how much would that check have to be? So there's different ways of phrasing, right? The question of how much are you looking to cash out on this deal? Now, if you hit a wall and you're absolutely not able to move forward with it, you drop a soft pass. A soft pass, it's a range. It's a wide range of a price point that you can do for this property. And it's super simple. Again, my lead manager is doing this. She's not, super strategic or deep or trained in running comps, right? She understands the seller conversation, understands at a 30,000 foot level how some of the deal structures can work. For example, seller financing, what the cash offer is and that kind of stuff. But her bread and butter, her skill set really is in understanding sellers and teeing them up for the acquisitions. So with that being said, she can't get a number out of the seller. She can't get an asking price from the seller. So she'll go over and look at Zillow. see what the Zestimate is, so what the online value is. If she can't find a Zestimate there, she's gonna go to Redfin, she's gonna go to Trulia, or anywhere where she can find it. We have some in-house programs too. We use Batch as well. So she'll get any of those numbers, and then she'll give the seller a range. Okay, without walking the property, and based off of what you're telling us, we would have to be between 65 and 85%. So she won't say 65 or 85, she'll give him the number. For example, the property is worth ARV 100,000, she'll say we might be able to do 65,000 to 85,000 depending on the condition of the house. Okay, so it's a very soft way to just get in there and test the waters per se, right? To see if they're willing to negotiate, if there's a conversation to be had there. If you get shut down at 85%, I mean, keep in mind that whenever somebody sells retail, they're making about 91% of the money. Why? Because the rest goes in fees, and sales fees, closing costs, and all that stuff. So it's pretty close to retail, right? Now you are anchoring on that 65%. So if they say, yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's something we could talk about, then she takes that lead and tees it off to my acquisition guy for him to, really get deep in the conversation and start closing. Now, if the case is different, right, and they say, no, that's way too low, there's absolutely no way I'm gonna go down to that price point. At the very least, I want 90,000 for my property. The next thing that she'll go into will be teeing up the seller financing strategy, okay? So it sounds like you want retail for this house. I mean, we don't know all the details. You'd still need to talk to my manager, but would you be open to doing some type of seller financing? Maybe then we can hit a retail price point for you where you can, sell your house for whatever is worth on the market. Is that something that you'd be open to having conversation about? Right? So super simple. It's part of the soft pass, that entire thing, that 65 to 85%. And if they say no, we go over to that seller financing pivot, right? But that entire thing is part of our soft pass process. If you're not doing that, you need to do something like that as well with your leads. Otherwise, you're going to be running around like crazy. You're going to be going to all kinds of appointments because you weren't able to get or draw out a number from the seller. You don't know if they're negotiable. And then show up to a house and they're expecting retail. They're expecting 100% ARV for a junker, right? Maybe they have the idea that the price points are still back what they were in 2018, 2017. You need to know or have an idea where they stand. In terms of understanding of the market and in terms of negotiating and being flexible on the price point that they have. The reality is that you just never know until you ask, so go ahead and ask, all right? The soft pass, it's a great tool to do deeper pre-qualification on your leads and not waste your time, especially if you're a solo operator. If you're a solo operator, you want to make sure that you're not wasting any time. Why? Because you have so many different hats to wear, right? Again, if you want to find out how to wholesale the right way, if you want to get strategic about it, build your business with systems and processes in place, go to reiwholesaling.com, download the Wholesaling 101 course, and hit us up, send us a message. Maybe we can have a conversation about it, right? In the meantime, stay focused. You got this.